Miss Alabama ran full speed off of a balcony and plunged to her death? This one sounds weird. What's up, Cinema Shogun here, and for the second time in recent months, a former beauty queen has mysteriously fallen to her death from a high-rise apartment building. This time, it was former Miss Alabama from 2021 who allegedly ran full speed off of a balcony and plunged to her death. I'm going to go ahead and hop right into this article so I can bring y'all up to date with what's going on here. And this case really stuck out to me because not only does it sound weird, but there's conflicting stories about what actually happened from people who supposedly saw what happened. So without further ado, let's hop right in. Miss Alabama, Zoe Sozo Bethel, ran full speed towards a third-floor balcony railing and plunged to her death after taking a mystery cannabis substance and suffering from a breakdown. A conservative Christian beauty queen plunged to her death from an upscale Miami condo building after taking a mysterious cannabis substance and suffering a breakdown. Zoe Sozo Bethel, the 2021 winner of Miss Alabama for America Strong, began acting strange before she ran full speed towards a third-floor balcony railing, according to the police. Zoe, who has a 5-year-old daughter, damn, that's sad, was overheard praying in the seconds before her February 10th fall, and an eyewitness told officers she saw the 27-year-old jump. Now, like I said, there's different conflicting stories as to what really happened here, but an eyewitness said she jumped. And right there, hearing that she left behind a 5-year-old daughter, it's absolutely heartbreaking. But Zoe's brother has contradicted that eyewitness account of her final moments, and he is insisting in a police interview that his sister did not see the railing and she simply accidentally slammed into it and toppled over. So we have one person, an eyewitness account from the ground, that says they saw her purposely jump, but her brother says that she just accidentally bumped into this railing and fell. So both of those stories sound weird. You know, why would she jump? And how would she accidentally miss this railing? But I guess, things happen. But a police report reveals that Zoe took an unknown amount of an unknown suspected narcotic while she was at a restaurant with her brother, Santiago Roman. Here's a picture of him right here. One account states that Zoe was on the phone with another one of her brothers in the seconds before her fall. And that's when she was heard praying. Zoe was an aspiring media personality from Loxley, Alabama. And she was in a coma for more than a week before her family announced that she actually succumbed to her injuries. So it wasn't instant. She held on for a while. The cops have already ruled out foul play, and they investigated her death as I can't say that word on YouTube, as an attempt to take her own life. But then they later determined that it was a tragic accident. So first they approached the situation as if, she decided to take herself out and she jumped off the building. But now they're saying it is an accident. Now, of course, we have two different statements made by people who were supposedly there. I don't know which one to believe. I don't know if either one of them are telling the truth. But that's what is being said so far. That's what that's the conclusion that the authorities have come to. Zoe's family also pushed back against any suggestion that she would have meant to hurt herself, insisting in a statement that the devout believer in Jesus would still be alive if she had a choice. So the family has been really adamant on pushing back any talks of her doing this on purpose. That, this was, an attempt for her to take herself out. They're saying that this is an accident because she was a devout Christian. She was really religious. And, that's against the religion, I guess you could say. A police report obtained reveals that Zoe took an unknown amount of an unknown substance while she was at a restaurant with her brother. The victim ingested a small amount of the substance. Mr. Roman asked, "What's that substance?" And she replied that it was a form of cannabis that helps her relax, given to her by a friend. So the brother is saying that he saw her take this little substance, but he's not saying that he provided it to her. He's saying that she said some other person provided it to her. Now, is that something that he's saying to get off the hook? I don't know. But from what he says, she said it was some form of cannabis. Now, I don't know if they've gotten the toxicology report from this. I'm diving right into this case with you all. But I find it hard to believe that cannabis would make someone run full speed and jump off of their balcony. So yeah, I think that the substance might have been something else. But like I said, I'm not sure what the autopsy report says or what the toxicology report says. But after eating at this restaurant, after she took this substance, her and her brother headed back to her brother's apartment at the 7-story La Piazza Navana condo building in Miami's waterfront Edgewater neighborhood, where Zoe complained that she was feeling high. Once again, cannabis and someone feeling high, it sounds like she's on some other type of drug here. I may be wrong, but it just feels like she's on some other type of drug here. The victim took off her clothing and went to take a shower. Her brother stated that even after taking a shower, the victim was still not feeling well and began acting very strange. Mr. Roman, which is her brother, went into the bedroom to blow up the air mattress where the victim had been sleeping on while visiting him from out of town. So she was there visiting her brother from out of town. She was sleeping on an air mattress in his spare bedroom. Right now, he knows that she's dealing with something. She took this substance while they were out to eat. She came home. She's feeling hot. She stripped naked and got in the shower. I'm not sure if she did that in front of her brother. I mean, that would be weird. But yeah. So while her brother was in the bedroom, filling up this air mattress, he heard the door to the apartment open. And then he went outside and observed the victim, which is Zoe, walking near the elevator. This is weird, y'all. So he runs outside. He sees her just walking aimlessly by the elevator. And then he begins to call out her name, telling her to get back inside. See, Yamsha could tell that started weirding me out and stressing me out. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let me get back to the story. So he runs outside. He sees her just walking aimlessly by the elevator, and he starts yelling out her name and telling her to get back inside. He says that she then looks back at him and then takes off running full speed ahead. He then states that the victim was not aware of the balcony railing in front of her. The victim's bottom part of her body hit the railing, and she went over, landing on the first floor parking lot. Her brother then runs down to the first floor and observes the victim, Zoe, bleeding from her head and nose. The police report states that a female bystander witnessed the plunge from the parking lot and dialed 911. The caller stated that there was a female having a breakdown from possibly taking too much narcotics. The 911 caller also stated that the female had jumped off the balcony. So, this is really weird here. The brother says that she took this substance. She was acting weird. He saw her run, and then she accidentally falls off the building. The woman downstairs says that she just saw her jump off the building. But the woman downstairs says that, she was suffering from a breakdown from possibly taking too many drugs, too many narcotics. How would she have any knowledge of that? That's what's weird to me. You're just sitting down here in your car, texting, doing whatever you're doing, and you see someone jump off a building. How would you have any knowledge that she was having this emotional breakdown? I mean, maybe you could assume that she was on drugs because she just made the choice to run off and jump off a building. But how could you just come to that conclusion? That you call 911 and tell them, she's having this breakdown. So that's where I just really become confused. Because the brother is acting like this was just a quick spur of the moment thing. He went to fill up the air mattress. He heard the door open. As soon as he hears the door open, he goes and checks, sees her by the elevator walking, yells at her to come back. She runs off the building. So how would the person downstairs know that she was having this much of a breakdown, and stuff like that? I just find that weird. I find it really weird that she would know those many details. And I'm not saying there's really anything even from that. I'm just saying I don't understand why she would know so many details unless maybe she was out there freaking out for longer than what it seems. I mean, I don't know. How quickly did he really go out there to check on her? I'm not sure, but that's something that I'm interested in. How did this person know all of these details about what she was going through if she was just someone chilling, an innocent bystander chilling in the parking lot that had no knowledge of what was going on? The police report entered by Miami Police Department officer Jose Gutierrez features two different narratives which are somewhat contradictory. A second account states that Roman said Zoe was acting erratically, pacing back and forth, before he observed Zoe jump off the third floor of the building. The account states that Zoe was on the phone with another one of her brothers, Zion, in the seconds before her fall. He told cops his sister was sounding distressed and at one point started to pray before she jumped, according to the document. So now this other account, her other brother says that she was actually on the phone with him and she sounded really distressed and that she started praying. And that this was seconds before she jumped. Or she fell. I don't know. But it was literally right before it happened. Maybe even as it happened. The report also states that 16.9 grams of an unknown type of drug was recovered from the scene. Okay. Where did they find it? Was it on Zoe? Was it on Zoe's brother? Was it on the person downstairs who seemed to somehow know that she was tripping out on drugs? I'm just saying. Where was this substance? And why do they keep saying an unknown substance? You have to remember, this happened in February. We are now we're closing out March almost. We're slowly coming to the end of March, and they don't know what this substance is yet. This is their job. Is it cannabis? Or is it something else? Maybe it's some type of synthetic marijuana. I highly believe that just some regular marijuana would make anyone do this. I mean, and I've toketh upon my fair share of sticky icky in my days. And if anything, it makes you maybe a little more cautious about being high up and more cautious about balconies and more nervous that something may happen. If anything, I think that she was on something else, and I'm not sure who provided it to her. I'm not convinced that her friend gave it to her, but especially if they found 16.9 grams on the scene and they keep calling it an unknown substance. If it's weed or cannabis, just say so. Don't call it a mystery cannabis substance. What the hell does that even freaking mean? But anyway, first responders found Zoe laying injured and unresponsive in the parking lot, and she was rushed to the hospital and placed on life support. Her family launched a fundraising appeal on social media, but 8 days later announced that the young mom, who had appeared as a political commentator on the pro-Trump right side broadcasting network, had died due to severe damage to her brain and brainstem. Okay, so I didn't know that. Turns out that she was at least somewhat involved in politics. So, and she was working with a pro-Trump right side broadcasting network. What does that even mean? Just say the name of the news agency. So maybe that's a possible motive of why people may have hated her. I know a lot of people out there hate Trump for whatever reason, and some people act downright crazy about it. So maybe that might have been a motive there. I didn't know that she was into politics, but that's something that she has in common with the other beauty model that actually mysteriously fell off a building as well. But at a young age, Zoe was taught to stand up for the truth and to never be apologetic, her loved one said in a statement. She was a devout believer in Jesus Christ and was a strong conservative who was very patriotic. She loved God and valued life as well as the lives of those around her. She was growing and becoming more successful each year of her life, and she was only just beginning. And if she had a choice, she would be with us today. So once again, they're continuing on with their statements, saying that there's no way that this is her attempting to take her life. Like, this was just an accident. That's what they keep saying. The Miami Police Department has not charged anyone in connection with Zoe's death. The preliminary investigation revealed that the victim fell out of a third-floor window, the department said in a statement. Okay. Does that sound off to you all? The preliminary investigation revealed that the victim fell out of a third-floor window, but they just said that she jumped off of a balcony. Falling out of a window, running full speed, and jumping off of a balcony, two very different things. All the different accounts from what happened are different in various ways. But at the end of the day, they all say that she fell off of this balcony outside of the condo. So there was never a mention of her falling out of a window. I'm not sure why the preliminary investigation revealed that she fell out of a window. Maybe that's just how they're wording it. But I mean, I think there's a big difference between falling out of a window and falling over a balcony. She was transported by Miami Fire Rescue to Jackson Memorial Hospital in critical condition. On Friday, February 18th, 2022, at 5:24 a.m., Zoe Sozo Bethel succumbed to her injuries. The Miami-Dade medical examiner ruled the cause of death as blunt force trauma and the manner of death as accidental. This was a tragic accident, and no foul play is suspected. Zoe had worked for the, I can't say that word on YouTube, group of students who are pro-life, let's just say that, and the conservative whistleblower site Project Veritas that aims to expose liberal bias in media reporting. Okay, so the plot thickens. So not only was she involved in politics, not only is she here pictured with Donald Trump Jr., she was working with, I mean, they won't say the name of who she was working with specifically, but it was some type of pro-Trump site or something. And now it says that she also worked alongside Project Veritas. So I know there's a lot of people out there that hate Project Veritas. So when I hear all of these different things, like, it's weird in itself. It's often hard. We've already covered something like this recently. It's really hard for people to believe that young, beautiful people who literally win beauty pageants, who have bright futures ahead of them, can sometimes not be happy in life and they can end themselves. That's very hard for people to believe. So when you dive into a case like this and you see this, you're already skeptical. Because here's someone who has everything. Why would they run and jump off a building? And then you hear that, there's like several different accounts of what really happened. You look into the investigation and see that the police made mistakes, like saying she fell out of a window when she literally was seen jumping off of a building or somehow going over this railing. Somehow the person downstairs knows all of these details about what she was going through, even though they shouldn't have at the time. So that's weird. So there's a lot of details that are weird surrounding this. But then when you get to the thick of things and you really start looking into it, you realize, so she was working with a lot of people who were hated, who have people who are out to get them. And maybe someone was out to get her. Now, of course, that's maybe not the case. But I'm just saying that if there was something involved here, that maybe it's tied to that. But it's an extremely sad situation. And even right here, as I'm looking into it, it says that Zoe's support for Donald Trump got her fired from a lot of modeling gigs after posting a photo of herself with Donald Trump. So her career, while it was taking off in some avenues, I guess you could say like her journalistic career and the aspects of her career when it's working towards activism on the right side or what have you, that was taking off and she was doing well over there. But her modeling career was suffering because in the modeling industry, they don't accept people with different point of views. You have to be basically not even left-wing. You can't even be, that's one thing I've noticed in Hollywood, modeling agencies, what have you. It's like you can't even be left-leaning anymore. You have to be far left. Because what the left is now is a lot different than what the left used to be. And if you're not just far left, they won't accept you. So her having pictures out there of her with Donald Trump, her being pro-Trump, it automatically basically deaded her modeling career. And that's sad. And maybe that's something that she could have been battling with. Maybe that's something that she could have been depressed over. But they're all basically saying that it's all because of this mystery cannabis substance. That this is why she jumped. And I just find that hard to believe. I don't find it hard to believe that maybe she took some type of substance that caused her to have a breakdown and maybe she winded up jumping off the building, but I don't think it's cannabis. I don't think it's cannabis. It's something else. That's something, the fact that she was hot and she needed to take a shower and stuff, maybe she took some type of pill or something. Or, like I said, there's these synthetic marijuanas out there nowadays. You never know what they're putting in shit nowadays. So, and I think the fact that they keep calling it a mystery cannabis substance and an unknown cannabis-like substance kind of shows that this was definitely not just regular cannabis. This was something else, because why not just call it what it is? The fact that this happened in February, in the middle of February, and we're nearing towards the end of March, and they don't even have a name for what the substance is weird to me. But then again, I just need to look more into this case. I just found out about this case, and I'm late on finding out about this case. But then again, a lot of the details about this case are just now coming out, and that's why it was brought to my attention. But I want to know, what do you all think about this? Have you already heard about this? Do you think this is mysterious? Do you think that something happened to her? Did someone do this to her? Do you think this was just an accident? I don't necessarily think that there's anything involved here yet. I have to look through it more. I just think that maybe someone gave her some type of substance that they shouldn't have. Maybe someone told her they were giving her something and it wasn't what they told her that they were giving her. I don't necessarily believe that it was just a random friend and her brother has no idea how it happened. I do find it weird that there's conflicting stories. There's some weird things here. Obviously, it raises my eyebrows because she worked alongside Project Veritas, and maybe there were some motives there. People don't like people with strong political opinions. They really don't. So you never know. In the last beauty model that I covered who mysteriously fell off a building, she was involved in politics as well, but she was involved in left-wing politics, and she, winded up in the same situation like her. I mean, of course, there was no talk of mystery substances there, but then again, we don't know. Who knows? It's just two beauty models within a span of, I said, a couple of months. It looks like they happened really close together. I have to go look at the exact date, but within a few weeks of each other, both died tragic deaths, and there's still a lot of questions surrounding both of them. But like I said, let me know your thoughts about all of this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and as always, find some time out of your day to go watch a movie.